embrace the idea that it's actually a good thing to not be the smartest person in the room. It went from being intimidating to being, oh, this is going to make me better. This
Mm.
is going to make me smarter. This is going to help me grow. And learning to embrace that and not feel intimidated about it, but learning to position yourself in a way to not be the smartest person in the room is the best way to grow.
Welcome to the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. Your guide on this journey is Amy Sylvis, ready to unlock the keys to a life of true abundance. We're diving into everything from financial freedom and optimal health to meaningful relationships, geographic freedom, and everything in between. It's about creating a life rich in experiences, purpose, and joy. Get ready for empowering conversations, expert insights, and real-life stories that inspire you to live abundantly. If you're ready for the secrets to an abundant life, hit that subscribe button now, and let's get started.
Secrets to Abundant Living podcast community. Welcome. I'm so excited to welcome you to another episode. Hey, we've been growing a lot lately. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Amy Sylvis. I'm the founder and CEO of Sylvis Capital. And I have a longtime friend, business partner, and woman who I tremendously look up to, Miss Tammy Sutton, with us today. And you're really in for a treat. Tammy, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. I was just thinking how long we've known each other. I think I met you in maybe June of 2020 or July of 2020. Is that
I
possible?
think it was around June, July of 2020. So yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Happy anniversary.
I know, right? Here we are in October of 25. But
Yeah.
gosh, you have just such an amazing story and you're such a multidimensional woman that, you and I have actually tried a couple times to get this podcast recorded, but I've been persistent, right? I've been a persistent bugger because I just knew how badly our audience needed to hear your story.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can you tell us just a little bit about yourself to kick us off?
Well, let's see here. I am a wife, mother of three, grandmother of six, dog mom of two. And I'm a managing partner at Quattro Capital, which I have to honestly say, it was never something that was on my to-do list. So, you never know where you're going to end up in life, but loved living in the South and making every day count.
Oh, I love that so much. I love that you say it was kind of nothing you really planned or you
Nope.
had really decided to do. Can you tell us a bit about that journey? Because this podcast is about abundance. And I think and you can tell me, but I think one of the
Yeah.
aspects of abundance is really seizing opportunities that come your way and being really open to what might show up on your radar. So your story is so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. I started life out at, the early age of 18. I was going to be the next Clarice. I know it was weird, but I absolutely loved criminal psychology. And so, I head off to school and I'm studying criminal justice. I'm studying psychology. I'm going to be in the FBI. It's just going to be awesome. And, you know, life had a different plan. And so I end up a mom, and suddenly, immediately, overnight, like, no way am I going to spend 100 plus hours away from my child. So life took me down the motherhood route, and I don't regret that at all, not one bit. But it did send me down a complete different path. So I was lucky enough to be a stay-at-home mom and work out of my home and things like that. Kept the paralegal skills going for a while through the home. And then when we moved to Tennessee, I took a different route and ended up teaching for about 15 years. So absolutely loved that career. I loved all the kids that I worked with, and I truly thought that's where I would end up retiring. But December of 2019, there was another fork in the road that I did not see coming. Went to Texas for Thanksgiving and was presented with a amazing opportunity from my beloved sister and now business partner. She had talked to me. She was like, "Hey, I need you to really consider coming to work with me and handling our mother's single family portfolio, help me with the books, things like that. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I can't give up my paycheck to go do that." And she cracked me up. She was like, "Oh, hard to talk to your husband. It's fine." And I just laughed.
That's so Kim. Okay. Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
Kim, right?
Yeah.
And so Kim, I was like, "Do what?" So literally every limited mindset objection that I had, she busted wide open. And I was just like, wow. So it's a good 12-hour drive back. And I'm talking to my husband about it. And he was like, "This is a great opportunity. This is the perfect time for you to do it, blah, blah, blah." The only person standing in my way was me in my mindset. I look back on that now and it's like, what a closed mindset I had because I was so stuck in the world of, I have a career, I have to see it through to retirement. This is all I know.
Mm.
Okay. I went back to school and added this teaching certificate. I can't abandon that.
Right.
And it was such a limiting mindset. And so, my husband was pretty frank with me. And he was like, "You don't even enjoy it anymore." And I was like, "I absolutely do. I love my kids. They're,
Mm.
amazing. I can't stop taking care of these kids." And he was like, "You're exhausted. It's affecting everything about you." It was a reflection, a reflective moment there that I was like, wow, I didn't even see that coming because I always said I never want to be that burnt out teacher. And I was like, I'll always quit before that happens. But you don't see it when it sneaks up on you. You really don't. And so I did a lot of reflecting and I truly was exhausted because I guess in my mind, the abundance I was living was more of how far can I stretch myself? How busy can I be? How, if I have time, I've got to fill it with something. Otherwise, I'm not being effective. And all that was doing was it was just spending all of my energy and I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't being meaningful enough. So literally December of 2019, I went in, dove in both feet. I had absolutely no idea what a P&L was. I had no idea what due diligence meant.
Right.
I had no idea. I thought multifamily, literally, I'm going to say this. I thought multifamily meant more than one family lives in a house.
Yeah.
That's truly, I had never heard it called that. It
Yeah.
was always just an apartment. So I obviously had a whole lot to learn. I had a whole lot to learn. And, one thing about being an educator, you embrace life as a lifelong learner. So I dove in, gave myself a college education in real estate, and away we went. And here I am 5 years later. I have to say, the 2025 Tammy doesn't even remember how tired the 2019 Tammy was. Like, they don't even know each other, is how much I changed in the last 5 years doing this. Mhm.
Oh, goosebumps,
Yes.
goosebumps,
Yeah.
goosebumps. So a couple things to unpack here. The
Yeah.
first thing is those who have been longtime fans of this podcast have met the amazing Kim Wendland and have met
Mhm.
your son, Chad Sutton. So if you all are
Yes.
putting some pieces together, you may recognize this amazing family. And if you haven't heard those episodes, little quick plug to go watch those. But gosh, Tammy, I can't fathom, just as you mentioned this, I'm just imagining your amazing husband, Terry, who I've had the privilege
Mhm.
of meeting several times, and your
Yeah.
sister, Kim, really encouraging you and maybe even seeing some things about your life that maybe you were so much in the trenches. And
Yes.
look, anyone who knows you knows how much you care about others, you care about being an educator,
Mhm.
particularly children. So I'm
Mhm.
imagining you were so just entrenched in living your God-given mission, or maybe what felt like it at the time of this is what you're tasked to do. This is what you feel fulfilled by. But also, you're just exhausted. You're burned
Mhm.
out. And how terrifying to maybe think of a switch of giving up the familiar, switching to the
Yes.
unfamiliar, being
Mhm.
new. How scary is being new? at something too.
Well, I have to say being new didn't scare me as much
Okay.
because I think I've moved 20 something times in my life, you know, and we moved a lot. So I was a new kid at school a lot. So
Yeah.
that part, yes, it was uncomfortable, but I wasn't as scared about that as much as I was being intimidated about being the team member that knew nothing. And what I did not realize was that was so far from the truth. I had instincts, I had skills that were transferable into this team that I did. It took me a little bit, but I didn't realize I was the missing link. I
Mm,
was the missing ace that they needed because we strive to put our aces in our places, right?
yeah.
You most definitely do not want me being the one doing the underwriting, right? That is Chad. That is where his skills, and that's where he thrives. Kim, absolutely amazing at asset management and financial management and all things budgets, right? That is her talent. And then you have Erin over here, who I have literally sat and watched her change people's lives with one conversation. She is an amazing relations person, the way she talks to people. So, yes, investor relations, that's where she belongs. And it took us a little bit to figure out that my multitasking skills, my ability to switch hats at a moment's notice, which I had really perfected as a teacher.
I bet.
Okay. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to think on the fly. You have to be able to move quickly. You have to juggle paper. You have to juggle emails and all this. And that was what I did well. And all it did was I had to learn a different language,
Mm,
you know, and that was funny because the one thing my kids in class, they were always petrified of math. It was the four-letter word for so many of my kids.
yeah.
And I was like, "Can you count?" And they were like, "Yes." I was like, "Okay, then we're already off to a good start." You know, "Can you read?" "Yes." "Okay." All you have to do is learn the new language.
Mm,
And if they would learn how to talk math, then they couldn't they were just so proud of themselves of how smart they were. So I had to, instead of teaching kids how to do that, I had to teach myself how to do that. I had to learn quickly, like, okay, they're using this word. What does that mean? I have to go figure all that out. And over time, I realized, like, wow, I'm actually really good at this, you know? And so just embracing the idea of change and knowing that it doesn't take long to learn something.
mm.
All you have to do is start, you know? Yes, yes, I did. I started with absolutely 0 background in it.
So
But
impressive. Yeah.
yeah, but I started, and that was the difference. I started.
That was the difference. The teacher teaches
Mhm.
herself and now
Yeah.
starts on that new journey. I want to give listeners just a tiny bit of context because you so this transition was you did some single family, family
Mhm.
with your family assets, and then you joined Quattro Capital, which you mentioned at the beginning, which was at the
Yes.
time a four member. You were the fifth member
Yes.
and you all buy similar to me because I'm your business partner in some of these deals.
All right.
You all buy commercial apartment properties,
Mhm.
right? And invite investors to invest alongside of us. So I just want to give
Yes.
folks that context of going from a teacher, a paralegal, and learning this whole new language, exactly as you mentioned, Tammy, and
Mhm.
figuring out kind of where your superpowers lie. And I say that plurally with
Yeah.
intention. It is not superpower with Tammy, it's superpowers to contribute
Yes.
to that team. And seeing, we talked just before we, start hit record, this latest webinar that I saw that you all did for your investors. And you were
Mhm.
the person that introduced it. You spearheaded, you kicked off that webinar and how I've seen you evolve. And I know that was just a tiny sliver of all of the
Right.
work that you did that went into that webinar. I'm positive there was a ton behind the scenes. It's just
Mhm.
that mindset that you have, Tammy, is not something that many people do. And one of the many reasons I wanted to have you on the podcast, because I speak to women and men who
Mhm.
wonder, am I capable? Is this for me? Can I not necessarily start over, but start something new, try something new, be a beginner? Where could I fit? And I just think your
Right.
story proves what we're capable of.
Right, right. Well, I was talking earlier, like, everybody's aces in their places. What I was able to bring to the table and what I found that I really thrive is transitioning a property from acquisition to asset management. There is so much in that gray area, so much to do. So I have found that I handle all of that very well. We can do another podcast. I'll dig into all that.
Yeah.
That could take us an hour right
Woo.
there. But also, there's marketing aspects of things. There's operational things that have to be done every day. And I transitioned into very well because it was something that I was already doing and handling just in a school setting, that those skills were able to transfer over here, and I'm actually really good at it. And being able to comment that and say that myself to myself is a growth thing anyway, right? So, being able to handle the operations and handle the marketing, I absolutely thrive. I laugh every once in a while. I'm like, well, I got to go color. I'll see y'all later, because that like,
You're so
I got to go
funny.
play, and I love that creative outlet of doing the marketing side of
Yeah.
things.
Oh
You know?
gosh.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, the podcast is about abundance. You mentioned abundance earlier.
Mhm.
What has this new role? I know it's been, there are always challenges, when starting anything new and growing a business, growing investments, but I am really curious what abundance feels like to you now. What would you highlight in terms of the life that you live currently?
Mm. Let me give you a word. Liberation. Liberation. It really does. The freedom to know that if my day doesn't have to look exactly the same every single day. Okay. I was in such a mindset up until 2019, even really more so into 2020, that I had to get up. I had to be at work at 8. I had to work 8 hours. I have to fit everything else in from 5 to 9:30, 10, and then go to bed and start it all over again. I don't live my life like that anymore. And one thing I've realized is my time is expensive, and how I choose to spend that time has changed over the last 5 years. Instead of having that mindset, if I have to be busy for 12 to 14 hours a day, you know, I had my miracle mornings. They look perfect to me now. I get up. The first thing is hit the gym. We turned our garage into a gym, hit the gym and have that quality time with the husband and get that workout in, then get dressed. And then I look at my calendar. Then I look at my phone, like, what is today? You know, and if there needs to be a grandchild in there taken
Yeah.
care of, I can adjust that because I'm here. If I need to get a family member somewhere, I can do that. I don't have to answer to anyone else. I get my job done in the hours that it needs to be done, but the rest of my time is spent the way I choose. And that is such a liberating feel, because I am doing well and I am able to do well for others. And that used to not be the case because my time was all spent. It was spent. I was out of time. I was out of energy. So I couldn't do that. Yeah.
Wow. What I'm hearing is control over your time, control
Yes.
over your location, the ability to
Hmm.
those quality relationships, those 6 grandbabies, the
Yes.
few dogs. I mean, just, to name just a few relationships that matter to you. Obviously, your husband, Terry.
Yeah.
Wow. What a contrast to how you used
Yeah.
to have to live. And the way you used to live is fine for some people. I mean, let's be honest, it's not for everybody, but you were given new information, you were given another opportunity, you seized it, and you worked on yourself, and you've been able to
Yes.
create something that it sounds like works far better for you and for
Absolutely.
you and
And
him.
I will say this. I will say this. There was a little bit of fear when I started saying no and saying yes to the right things instead of yes to all things.
Yep.
There were people that exited my life because I started making different choices and better choices for my health and my sanity and energy and all that. And that was the transition,
Mm,
but folks, it's okay.
mm,
It is okay to have your life filled with people that are like-minded and are supportive of your new journey. It makes all the difference when you're surrounded by the right people.
It's a great point because I don't know when people finally get the courage or the information to move forward, to take action, to move closer
Mhm.
to their dreams. eh, I don't know if we discuss enough or warn people that sometimes there's a pruning that happens, right?
Yes,
Sometimes
yes,
not everyone or every activity is right as you transform into the new Tammy, as you transform into
right,
Amy, right? And
right.
that's you bring up such an important point and expressing, hey, it's okay.
Mhm.
Maybe you didn't have that choice before. You just had to take whatever you had in terms of people and activities, but now you have that agency. It might feel a
Yes,
little different to be empowered to make those decisions. Wow.
right, and outgrowing people sometimes means you're growing and improving. Like,
Mm,
people forget that. They forget that. In
mm,
order to grow, your scenery doesn't always stay the same,
right.
and that's okay. It's a different type of abundance for me, because I'm saying yes to the right things, things that I know are good for me and are going to make a difference and are gonna fit my new lifestyle,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's okay, and that is okay.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. I don't think we've discussed that here on the podcast in the almost 2 years we've done this. So that's a really powerful point. Is there anything else you'd kind of reveal to people, that maybe was a little bit more challenging that forced you to grow? Any other aspect of this transition or learning what abundance means to you in your life?
I guess I had to embrace the idea that it's actually a good thing to not be the smartest person in the room. It went from being intimidating to being, "Oh, this is going to make me better. This
Mm.
is going to make me smarter. This is going to help me grow." And learning to embrace that and not feel intimidated about it, but learning to position yourself in a way to not be the smartest person in the room is the best way to grow.
Have you ever thought about having multiple streams of income? Instead of relying on just one stream of income where you're trading your time for money, how would you like to free up more of your time and live a more abundant life? As a listener of the show, you're invited to attend one of our upcoming trainings where I'll give you an inside look into how you can add passive income and get all the other perks of recession resistant real estate investing without the headaches of being a landlord. I'll also be sharing some hidden mistakes to avoid and the criteria I personally look for when evaluating potential investment opportunities. To reserve your seat for free, go to sylviscapital.com/webinar. Again, that special link to reserve your seat for free is sylviscapital.com/webinar. I look forward to seeing you on the training. And now back to the show. Powerful. We're
Yeah.
taught, and you know the education system better than anyone to have the right answers, right? And,
Mhm.
it's not great to not have the answers. So, what a mindset shift to your point to not be the smartest person in the room and,
Yeah.
maybe not feel intimidated, but realize, oh my gosh, well, I'm leveling up. I'm learning.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm actually growing. That's the new meaning to that feeling of, oh,
Yes.
I don't know everything. Oh, that means I'm growing. Sweet. Let's
Right.
do more of
Because
that.
I went from, obviously we go to conferences, we go to meet, things like that. And I was quiet for so long because I didn't want people to know that I was learning
Yeah.
and I was grasping knowledge. And now, I'm like, tell me more, explain this, explain that,
Yeah.
because it is that abundance mindset to grow, I guess. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Tammy, how do we get more women in this space to feel confident and capable that investing, whether it's apartments, whether it's stocks, whether it's oil and gas, whatever that is, but how do we get more American women to feel like this is something for them too? Do you have any thoughts?
I go back to just start. I'm not plugging Nike, but just do it. you know? I mean, you just have to start, whether you start small, whether you start messy, whether you start with someone, just start, and it isn't just a boys club. It is for everyone. And, I made my first multifamily investment. How old was I? 53, 54. I was in my mid 50s when I got started, and man, what I should have done 30 years before, but I know all things happen in time. They happen for a reason. But the fact that we got started, I cannot tell you what a difference it made.
Wow. I was going to ask you
Yeah.
the age question, but I'm like, I don't want to put you on the spot. I know some women don't like to talk about their age, but I so appreciate you
Yeah.
bringing that up though, because Tammy, the number of people, especially women that I think are going to feel encouraged of, it's not too late. And yes, we all wish we started sooner. You were with
Right.
me when I made my first apartment
Right.
purchase with you all. It was 2 days after my 40th birthday, and you better
Mhm.
believe I wish I would have gotten started earlier, but hey, it's the time is now. So I just,
Right.
gosh, it's amazing how we can use our stories to really
Right.
encourage others. And isn't that what this is all about?
That is
Yeah,
exactly what this is all about. And the
yeah,
one thing I will plug this in there. Here's your little tidbit of information to share. If you're nervous about getting started, you've got to think bigger, think scalability. Because yes, had I followed my parents' footsteps and started the single family portfolios, if I would have started that at 53 or however old I was, it would have taken me years, 20 plus years to build what I've built now in 5 years through multifamily investing.
yes. Yeah.
So, it's all about education, figuring it out, and scalability.
It's a
So
team sport, right?
it is a team sport.
It is a
Yes.
team sport. Well,
Yes.
Tammy, I also want to highlight your heart for giving back to others. I know there are charities and things that are
Mhm.
really near and dear to your heart. And I don't want to take the words out of your mouth, but I think a lot of what you do now in the real estate space enables your ability to give back. Can you tell us a
Yes.
bit more about that?
I have to say, one of the most rewarding things is when we do well and our investors do well, then we're able to do well for others. And being able to give back through philanthropy, things like Open Door and veterans homes and things like that are there are really no words that express how good that feels.
Yeah.
It is just wow, right? Just wow, being able to do that, knowing you're making an impact and you're changing someone's life for the better. But the one cause that is truly dear to my heart and I have a personal connection to is Jonathan's Path. It's here in Middle Tennessee, and they support teens that are in foster care or extension of foster care. They're getting out on their own. And the more I have learned about the connections, okay, these kids, they're on their own at the age of 18, right? And the majority, over 80% of these kids end up either homeless, trafficked, on drugs, or dead.
Gosh.
And knowing that I'm able to work every day and help make a difference in these teens' life and catch them before they become a statistic. To me, this is why I'm here. This is why I came down this path, able to give back in a way that truly makes a difference in someone else's life.
So powerful. I'm almost at a loss for words. I mean, that we are told growing up in culture that abundance is money, right? To buy things
Mhm.
and have experiences. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this
Nope.
overflow that you mentioned to be able to give to others, we are designed by our creator to be the most happy when we are giving back to others and helping others.
Yes.
So
Yes.
to have money be the vehicle, time be the vehicle, our knowledge and resources to be the vehicle to support some of our most vulnerable in society. That is just so special, Tammy.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just going to say it makes all the difference.
Yeah.
When you lay your head down at night and you've been able to make a difference. It's just powerful.
It's what it's all about. Where can folks
Mhm.
learn more? We'll put this in the show notes as well, but
Oh, absolutely. Completely. Jonathans.path.org
okay.
is that website. That you can most definitely just reach out directly to me at Tammy at the
Perfect.
quattroway.com. Forgot to say .com.
Yeah. We'll put that in the show notes too. Tammy, the other thing I want to mention that we make sure we say to folks is you all have a great way at Quattro for folks to get started if they want to get ready to generate hands-off income in real estate. Can you tell us a little bit more about that opportunity?
Yes, it's actually called the Quattro Fixed Income Fund 2, and it is designed for investors to get started and build that income while they're waiting to figure out where they want to. Do they want to invest in real estate? Do they want to invest over here? But it's a great way to put your money to work while you're learning about everything else. And the cool thing about it is you make a choice. You can choose, do you want that simple interest because monthly income is important to you, or do you want compound interest because you're truly interested in that long-term growth? But either way, it is a great way for you to put your money to work while you're educating yourself and looking for your next opportunity.
I love that. I haven't seen anything else like this in this space. And the fact that, as you said, folks want to get started, get in the game, but maybe you're still in the learning phase. This is a perfect fit for that to get started, not just be on the sidelines waiting with that kind of mental block that some people have as they learn. Get
Right.
started. This is a great opportunity. And they can reach out to you via email for that as well, Tammy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm inspired. I am only imagining the takeaways that folks listening to this are going to have after listening to you. And where, other than your email address, is there any other place where folks can get in touch with you, follow your journey?
Yeah. Yeah. You can catch me on LinkedIn. Obviously, I'm out there. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere you can think of. But more so, check us out on our website, thequattroway.com. You can get a hold of us there. Yeah.
You're amazing. I'm so grateful to call you a
Thank
friend
you.
and business partner. Tammy, you're just incredible. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye for now, everyone.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will empower you on your journey towards abundance. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us, and it helps others discover the secrets to an abundant life too. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn, Amy Sylvis. Keep striving for your goals, nurturing your relationships, and embracing the adventure that is life. Until next time, we wish you an abundantly fulfilling day.